さて、こんばんは。ライブ配信の開始です。というか、この前の、今日は本当、せんちゃんとこのライブ見てたんで、遅くなりました。が、前回の続きの、西部劇は茶番の続きをやっていきたいと思います。で、前回は、まず、この動画ですね。見てもらいたいと思います。で、これですね。
In the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in
で
Laredo
すね。
one day, I spied a young cowboy
そうですね。
wrapped up in white rain.
こんなことを本物の
Shucks, I
銃
wouldn't
で
put it on unless I was good at it.
するわけがないということですよね。
See,
で、この
single action means
回
like
すのを
unless
始め
you
た
have
の
the
は、
modern revolver, they can
こ
fire
の
this way
3
by
の
just pressing the trigger.
BBC
With the old-fashioned Western gun,
Let
you have to
Let
cock the gun first and then
Go
fire,
ahead.
so that in essence, when you go for the fast draw, the gun is actually cocked while it's in the holster, like so.
これが
See, cock till you
1950
pull
年
out
代
and then fire.
の
Of course,
話
you
で
must
す。
be
映画が
careful
始
that
まっ
when
た
you
のも
do this,
1950
you
年
don't do that. Well, you'll find out immediately why Chester walks with a limp here.
こんなこと本物の銃でするわけないでしょ。これが本物の銃ですよ。弾が入っててこんな回すわけないでしょ。ということで。で、話を始めます。がですね、それでですよ。面白い動画を見つけたんですよ。それをちょっと共有したいと思います。表示。これを見て、捏造だと思うんですよ、これ。ちょっと見てください。これですね。これ。あ、違った。これじゃない。待って。これじゃない、これじゃない。慌てるね、慌てるね。ですね。ファースト、あ、これだ。これですよ。
Shooters on the line. Shooters set.
Fast draw in Japan is split into areas similar to North America, with the four areas being Kantan,
これです
which
よ。
includes Tokyo,
東京でこんなことやってると思いますか？
Kansai, which includes Osaka and Kobe,
それが知りたいですよ
Kyushu,
ね。
which includes Fukuoka and Nagasaki. The All Japan contest rotates among the four areas, with the 2014 contest taking place in Fukuoka. Now let's take a look at what I learned when competing at a Japanese fast draw contest. The All Japan Fast Draw Championship is the major contest at the end of each year. Most contests occur indoors due to often rainy weather and can be held there because the ammunition used in Japan requires minimal distance and backstops. The contests are run pretty much the same as in North America. There's the sign up,
一緒なわけないでしょ。ノースアメリカって言ってる。
gun and ammo check, scorekeepers and announcers, shooting orders listed on the scoreboard, a dry fire area, and a shooters meeting at the start of the contest. Contests are run using World Fast Draw Association rules, but there are some differences that make Fast Draw in Japan unique. Most of the
このア
differences
ソ
are
シエー
due
ショ
to
ン、日
Japanese
本
gun
に
laws that
あ
don't
る
allow
か
public
知りたいん
ownership
です
of
よ
real
ね。
guns. Shooters in Japan must use guns made primarily of hard plastic. They are only allowed to shoot small blanks with a blast that travels a few feet or plastic
こ
BBs
れちょっ
like
と日本語
those
に
used
変え
in
た方がいいですか
airsoft
ね、やっぱり
guns.
ね。
By slight changes of the WFDA rules of targets, shooters can use this equipment to successfully shoot fast draw. Let's start with the blank events, which are shot using 8-inch
あ、
balloons.
違った。いいか。
As mentioned, the blanks are smaller than those used in North America and only travel a few feet with enough blast to break a balloon. The barrel of blank guns is partially blocked by a piece of metal across the front and rear of the barrel.
これですよ。こんなの。モデルガンでしょ。
Preventing solid objects from being ejected. The 6 pieces in a row here.
これ昔自分もモデルガン持ってたからやったことあるんですけどね。これただ火薬を詰めてやるやつでしょ。昔このキャップ。MGC のモデルガンで使ってたですもんね。
They are plastic with a small amount of powder inside, connected in sheets of 50.
これただの火薬ですもんね。
2 caps are used in each blank. In the base of the shell, you place the brass push rod that fills the primer pocket, which is struck by the firing pin. On top of that, you place one of the caps with the powder facing upwards towards the top of the shell.
これただ撃つだけですもんね。こんなこと日本でやると思います？こんな大会があると思います？
You then place the other cap
これ
on
こ
top
そが
of the
捏
shell,
造
with
で
the
しょ。
powder facing down into the shell and the plastic facing towards the open end of the shell, sealing the shell.
で、これ火薬詰め
Small
ても弾
hollow
が出るわ
block
け
is
じゃな
then
いでし
placed
ょ。
between the caps and the base of the shell with the nipple end towards the lower cap.
このシングルアクションリボルバー
Used
に
on a cap
の
called pistol.
エアガ
When
ン
the firing
で
pin hits
なん
the
か
primer rod, it
詳
pushes
し
the
い
cap
人
into
が
the
い
nipple,
たら
igniting the powder with the gases going
教
through
えて
the
くだ
hollow
さい。
block toward the front of the shell. Top and bottom of the shell are then screwed together to make the final blank. When the blank is fired in the gun, the bottom cap ignites, sending sparks and hot gases into the top cap, which also ignites. The combined pressures contained within the shell are enough to force their way out the only way available, by punching a
そういう意味
hole
わかり
through
ま
the
せんも
plastic
んね。
off the top cap and out the front of the shell and down the barrel.
これただ火薬詰めただけで、その早打ちのそのコンテストで何の意味があるか。
There are caps with more powerful
ですよね。
targets, with this shooter using the red powerful ones at the base of the shell and the regular cap at the top. The unloading process is the reverse of the loading process. You unscrew the shell, push the primer pocket rod and cap out of the base of the shell, pull the block from the top of the shell, then push the upper cap from the top of the shell. Notice that the cap on the right that was at the top of the shell has now become domed. It has a hole blown through it where the gases force their way through and out the top of the shell. These blanks work well with the balloon placed at the
これ
40
おかしい
centimeter
でしょ。
distance using
的があって、
which is about 14 inches.
弾が当たるわけじゃないでしょ。おかしいでしょ。
Now let's take a look at the wax events.
Shooters set. Target 0.47947.
The wax events we shoot in North America are shot in Japan using what they call gas guns.
これ BB
These
ガンで
guns
しょ。
use compressed air and plastic BBs, the same as airsoft guns. Here's how it works. The cylinder of the gas gun is 2 parts. An inner drum that holds the compressed gas and does not rotate, and an external part that rotates around the gas drum, which has a hole for filling gas into the inner drum. Here's a better look. You can see the
全
brass
然
gas
これが
port
意
in
味
the
わかんない
hole
で
in
す
one of
ね。
the fake shells.
ここのところも。
As the outer part of the
な
cylinder
ん
is
でこういう
rotated
ことを。
360 degrees, the hole lines up again.
で、これ見るのは日本人じゃないでしょ。
In the front of the cylinder, you'll find a small hole at the top of the inner gas drum where the gas escapes to fire the BB. This hole is always lined up with the barrel, and the BBs rotate
で、
and
早
front
打
to
ち
fire
の
each time the
コン
hammer
テ
is
ストなんて
dropped.
BB ガンでやっても楽しくないと思うんですけどね。どう思いますか？っていうか、この境界が日本にあるかどうかも問題ですけどね。
A burst of gas is released through the hole in the front of the cylinder when the center pin in the cylinder is depressed. You can see that the gas gun does not have a standard firing pin. Instead, the dropping of the hammer pushes the center pin,
理解
allowing the release of gas.
不能ですね
If。you look closely, you'll notice
ど
that
う
the
して
hammer
こ
of
う
a
いう
gas
動
gun
画
does
を上
not
げる
push
かです
directly
よね。
against the frame when in a resting
自
position.
分ははっきり捏
The
造
center
だ
pin
と
in
思
the
うんですよね。
cylinder has enough pressure to prevent the resting hammer from triggering the release of gas. However, when the hammer falls from the fully cocked position, it has enough force to briefly depress the center pin, releasing a burst of gas, sending the BB down the barrel at just over 250 feet per second. There are different ways to load BBs into the gun. The simplest method is to place them in the 6 holes in the front of the cylinder
これ
one
違
at
う
a
でしょ。
time by
BB ガン
hand,
この
pushing them down by
BB
finger
の
pressure
弾
to
入れ
snap
て
them into
る
place.
あれじゃないでしょ。こんな銃は日本 BB ガンで
Some
あるんで
shooters
すか
use a
ね。
device that pops one BB
BB
in
ガ
the
ンに
front
詳
of
しい
each
人
chamber each time they
いないで
depress
すか
the
ね。
plunger.
見てた
They
ら
then snap the BBs
情
into
報
place with their finger.
教
This
えて
saves
く
from
ださ
having to
い。
fiddle with picking up the small BBs and making it faster to load 6 at a time.
嘘でしょ。日
The
本で
fastest
こん
method
な。
is to use this device. The red knob fits into the barrel, and the hole on the right goes over the end of the ejector rod housing. Since there is no use for an actual ejector rod on these guns, the
まあ
ejector
絶
housing is
対
a
本
hollow
物の
tube
ガン
used
で
to
こんな
feed
こ
the
と
BBs to the front of the
できない
cylinder.
ですけどね。
The shooter puts the red knob in the barrel and upends the gun.
早打
Shakes
ち
the
なんて
bottle to
絶
drop
対無理で
BBs
すよ。
down the ejector housing tube.
こ
Rotates the cylinder to drop BBs into each chamber, and snaps the BBs in place with their
あん
fingers.
なやつ積むらしいですよ。こんな
Once
BB
they've
ガン日本
loaded
で
the
売っ
chambers,
て
they
るんです
simply
か。
point downwards to send the unused BBs in the tube back into the bottle.
誰か詳しい人いませんかね。
The gas chamber is charged by lining up the hole in the back of the cylinder with the nozzle port on the inner drum. Inserting the tip of
こ
the
こら
can
辺
of
なんか本
compressed
物の
air
銃
into
あ
the
れしてるじゃ
nozzle
ないですか。
and pushing on the can.
これでしょ、多分。で、ガス入れて。
To unload and show clear, the shooter fires the gun at least 6 times into the backstop netting, then places a red stopper down the barrel to show the gun is safe. This ensures a BB couldn't come far out of the barrel
冗
during
談
an
でしょ。
accidental discharge. Personally, I found the BBs with the gas guns to be almost identical to shooting wax bullets, with about 4/100ths of a second slower time than I'd see with shotgun primers. One thing I found interesting is that using the gas guns without BBs makes for a nice way to dry fire. The shooters set up a business card at the height of the target, then check their aim by dry firing within a few feet so the puff of air from the gas knocks down the card.
全然様にもなってないですもんね。
As mentioned earlier, fast draw contests in Japan are run using WFDA rules. They have both index and elimination contests
こ
with
ん
open and
な
traditional
やっ
styles.
てるんですか、日
They're
本
still
で。
utilizing the hands-off style, so Law and Ready is not yet
まあ
used,
こんな夜中
other
に
than some
見
specialized
てる
side
人誰
events.
も、ほんと3人、2人
The All
で
Japan
しょうけど
Championship
ね。
uses
誰
the
かほ
same
んと
events
こ
each
の、
year.
アーカイ
It's
ブ
a
残しま
traditional
すから、
style
こ
index
の、
contest with
あ
standing
れ、
blanks,
動画も、
double blanks,
関連動画あれ上げてますんで、下に
and
あれ
standing
してま
wax
す
at
ん
8
で、
feet using the gas guns and
教えてく
BBs.
ださい、分かったら。こんな、
By the way, take a look
Yeah,
at the
やってるか
barrel
ど
of
う
the
か。
shooter on the right. Let's take a look at that draw again. Most single shot events are 5 of 7, meaning they shoot 7 shots but only count the best 5 times in the event total. This came about due to the inconsistency of the blank guns in the early days of the sport, but even now that the guns and blanks are more consistent, this system is still in use. Double blanks are 3 of 5. This year's All Japan Championship was won by a shooter that goes by the alias Goose.
今年の優勝第一位。
グース。こんな日本人いると思いますこの人日本人らしいですよ。これは日系だと思いますね。どうしてその日本でやってるって言って
By the
も
way, if you win a
カナ
contest
ダ
in
の国
Japan, be
旗が
ready to go for a ride
要
because
する
the
にカナ
tradition
ダ
is
の
for the other
日系
shooters
か
to
なん
let
か
the
じゃな
winner
い
in
で
the
しょ
air a few times.
と思うんですけど。
I traveled to Japan with fellow fast draw shooter Mike Abitiki
Yeah,
to
though, I
film this
saw.
video. We'd like to thank Billy Shimada, Tex Maximoto, Colt Yamada, and Robert Ono for their help getting us to Japan to shoot in the championships, as well as all the Japanese shooters who welcomed us and offered their friendship. We will meet again, my friends.
という動画でした。あれね。 ですね。まあ、こういう動画でしたけど、西部劇は茶番ですよ。それから銃の撃ち方分かったんですけど、銃は、こうでしょう。こうじゃないですね。こう持ってくるの正解ですね。こうですね。どう思ったの？こういう感じですね。が正解ですね。これだと早打ちできますね。っていうか、刀の感じですね。だから山田さんが言ってたように腰を引く感じですよね。で、これですよ。片手ですよね。これが正解ですよ。こうですよ。で、こう構えるのが正解ですね。で、狙いを定めて、引き金を引くとかいう感じですよね。これが本当の打ち方だと思います。だから西部劇は絶対嘘ですよ。あれは作り物ですよ。まあ、そんな感じですね。あと、どの動画を上げたらいいか。何分話したかな。けど誰も入って遅いから誰も入ってこれないですよね。まあ無理でしょうけど。まあ、そうですね。じゃあ今日はこれぐらいにしときますかね。また、今度、いろいろ岩礁なんかに行って、材料揃えて見せたいと思うんで、まあ、そのためのあれとして、まあ、今日はこういうところで、誰も、もう遅いから入ってこないですよね。まあ、しゃあないですね。ということで、終わりにするかな。という前に、一回、そういえば、フロリダの水の、あれを紹介しましょうかね。水の、なんていうか、フロリダの水。ウィンドウ。あれあるやん。これか？こっちだ。これだ。ダメなんだ。なんで？見せることはできないのかな？あれ？画面の共有します。あれ？ウィンドウ。ダメか。失敗だな。何しといんだ。ウィンドウ。違うや。これダメなんだ。共有で、今度ちょっと勉強してからにしましょうかね。今日できないみたいですね。参ったな。まあ仕方ないや。ちゅうことで。今日はまた、まあ時間がいっぱいあるんで、ジョーチムさんのタルタリア行きましょうか。タルタリアメルトダウン。これはバンバン流していいっていう、あれでやってますんで、どこまで前行ったのかな。だいぶ行ったんだよな。ここら辺からか。
Okay, welcome back, friends. We are gonna look at pockets of survival now. Most of these photos will be very obvious for the new eyes. If you don't have the trained meltology eyes yet, most of these should be obvious with my explanations of what we are seeing. So hopefully you will appreciate that. For the new people, I see a lot of new people, new names in the comments and stuff showing up, and I just love to see it. New people getting curious about meltology and finding the truth with us here. So thank you everybody who's tuning in, new people. Please be kind and also if you can, share it out with people, open-minded people, so they also can come here and learn about meltology. Okay. So here is the pocket of survival, which is of course all over the place, but you got the heat damage mostly from the bottom, which we see in most cases, climbing up the building and starting to mangle it. It's getting all swollen here, heat expanded. Here to climbing up, mangling it. And it's just churning here at the top. Everything here went black. It used to be red bricks. It's churning here, rocking up,
要するにこの
swelling, melting.
お城の下もこう全部建物だった。
Of course, the pedophiles will tell you this is a mountain and that somebody built on top of it. But you can see the structure is it's merging and fused into the fucking so-called mountain here. This is all heat damage. So here you see churned bricks in the mountain as well, so-called mountain. So don't trust the pedophiles. They are liars. There is no such thing as mountains. Okay, so it is what it is. Here a row of apertures. It's all melted buildings. Nobody carved anything. You see archways in here. I can't zoom this one too much before it gets blurry. But you see stuff. You can still see remains of bricks around the archways. You see more stuff up
でもこの
here.
考え方も
So
本当正し
melted
いと思うんですよね。
buildings. Again,
要
the
するに
pedophiles will tell you somebody came and carved into here, but it's clearly heat damaged and melted. So
建物だったっていうことですね。ヒートダメ
just delivering you the truth here. And here, this is very interesting. You can see here, it just
もう自
turned
分
into
この
these
人
shards,
ジョーチム
vertical
さん、
shards there.
これもですね
And you see the
ほら、下もの
brick
部
wall
分
here is
も
going all
全
the
部
way
建
fucking
物だ
down.
ったっていうことです
Well,
ね
it。still has some swelling here, expansion going on.
まあ、
Here
西部
turning
劇とは
into
全然
these
関係ないで
shards
すけど、
again. Up here, blocking up, turning into block carbon, 14 being cooked out, lost its color, it's being fried, cooked,
これを流しなが
churned
ら
here, swelling, balloon rocking all the way to the right here, heat expansion,
ヒートダメージですよね。
melted buildings. And here as well, you see this pocket of survival on the top. Heat came pretty far up here and it mangled it, turned it
い
into
やこの上の部分だけが
this,
残ったってことで
which
す
is
よ
all
ね。
melted red bricks. You see here, I was just laying on top of the melt. And you got something going down here as well, just for no reason. How the fuck did they build this on a 70-degree angle or more, almost 90-degree here down? How the fuck did you build bricks there? And of course, the buildings in the back turned into this. Let's see, next. Here you see it again, slightly different angle. And you see this mess here in the melt that didn't manage to melt completely. You see remains of apertures and archway here. You see more down here, all filled out, covered in rock curtain, whatever. And you see this thing going down here, which is of course impossible to build
確かに。
because it was never built like this. This whole thing was a structure. All of this was a structure. Is there anything
でも
more
写
to
真を
look
修
at
正
here?
したって考えたら、それまでですけどね。
I don't think it's too much.
本物だったら、
Just block lines and stuff. Seen it plenty of times before.
要するにこの人が言いたいのは全部
And
山
here
を
as
全
well,
て
pocket of survival. And you see here, mangled, swollen, balloon rocked, scorched.
スコーチ
See here,
ですね。
you can't build like this. This is all melted building here. The bricks here survive, but they are thoroughly cooked. They are turned into blocks. No carbon left. It's all white, cooked out, mangled. Popcorn blocks all over the place. Balloon rocking here. Swelling
ポップコーンブロックですね。
remains here as well. They think this
熱
is
を与えて、その
rocks,
ポップコーンみたいにバーンといって膨れ上がる。
but rocks doesn't
っていう
exist. I'm
その
afraid.
考え方もすごいですよ
And
ね。
here more pockets of
どうやってそ
survival.
うなるか
You
が
would
知
never
りたいです
build like
ね。
this here at the edge of this unstable thing here. You can see it's almost
こ
about
れ
to
なん
even
て
fall down, and you see
写真
the
作ったんじゃないかって思うんですよね。
levels of heat damage. You see a bunch of the bricks are still intact, and some of them rocked up here,
歌うって
blocked up,
見ないとあれです
it's all
もんね。
scorched. You're missing the rest of this fucking building.
Yes.
It's all melted into here. And of course, there is another one here. The bricks just expanded, balloon rocked up here, got all churned, scorched. This is what happened to the bricks. See a brick down here, it looks like. It all used to be red bricks, all of this. And more pockets of survival up here. With the little cross on top, of course, always. Yeah. They hijacked this, they stole this little symbol here, and of course it's a cult run by pedophiles, and they have an insane book that they give to people, and they trick them with it. It's absolutely madness out there. It's so
表現の仕
fucking
方が
crazy.
さすがですね。
You have brick lines down here. Brick lines, block lines.
ですね。
Here another pocket of survival, very similar to the ones we have seen thousands of times before, but here is another one. You see the structure here and everything else melted and mangled. You see remains here. You see more structure up here and up here. Everything else completely devastated, and it's absolutely disgusting to look at. See the brick flood coming down here like ash. And here as well, you see this little pocket of survival on the top. Some more walls here. Everything else turned
不
into
思議ですよね。
what many people believe are mountains. Because
こ
they
の
have
人
been
の言う
tricked
ことを
since
信じたら、
the
もう
moment
もの
they
すごい
was
人
born.
口増加ですよね。とんでもない
And
人
you
口ですよ
have
ね。
this little
Yama
thing
が全て
sticking
建
up
物ですよ
through
ね。
this still. Nobody ever climbed up here with donkeys to build this. It's nonsense. You see some more remains in here, in the melt. Little tower sticking up here. And a few more stuffs. Some rocked up stuff and some more pockets. Here as well, towers sticking up. You would never build here. It's a
もう情緒さんもこ
45-degree
ればっかりです
angle
もんね。も
of
う
dirt.
メルトダウン。
You couldn't build there.
もう
The
洗脳
whole
に
thing would have
特
collapsed.
化して
You
ますね。
can't build on it. It was
自分
never
でも言って
built
ま
like
すもん
this.
ね。
Pockets of
洗脳してるっ
survival.
て。確
Here
か
are
に
the
そうですも
bricks.
んね。
This is a brick flood. Okay, they call it dirt now.
これ見つけたら
They
本当
think
全
this
部
is
建物が
dirt.
見えてきますわ。
They think this is Mother Earth here, but it's a brick flood flowing down.
まあ、この
Flowing
夜の
down
夜
from the
長い
melt
いでしょ。
here. All the
こっちはまだ
mass is melting, starting
昼
to. It became
っていうか今
viscous
10
and
時か
then
10時半
it's
です
starting
ね。
to flow down.
まあ今から、
See some brick lines in here.
ま
Brick
あだからもう夜
lines.
中までず
See
っ
some
と
bricks
こ
here.
れ流し続けてもいいですね。
Oh, see here. A bunch of bricks
こんなとこで
in
本
here.
当 だから赤い部分は全部レンガだってことで
This
す、
is
ね。
just evidence.
あ、こんばんは、ミキさん。
Block lines.
あれ入ってきません？話
Pocket
し
of
ましょうか。
survival on
さ
top.
夜の
Very
夜中
scorched
ま
out.
た
Almost nothing left with some bricks in it.
動画でも見
You
な
would
が
never
ら。
build here. The whole thing can just
あれで
fall
すよ。
down.
鉄
It's,
砲のあれ見たんです
looks
か？
like you might
あ、
have
そういえ
an
ば
archway
ミッ
down
ドナ
here
イトス
for
ペ
what
シャル、
reason?
あれで、ジョン・デリンジャーじゃなか
Right?
ったですか
Are
ね。
people that dumb? Can't they see what the fuck is
ジョン・
going
デリ
on
ンジャー
here?
のミ
When
ッドナイ
it's
トスペシャルじゃなかった
explained
です
in detail
か。
like
で、デリン
this.
ジャー
More
ってい
pockets
う
of survival
あれで
going
しょ
up here.
あれまだ売ってますもんね。口径が今45口径。
And
ああ、
here,
もう
this
眠
one
いです
should be
ね。そり
very
ゃそうです
obvious.
よね。
Yeah,
日本は
you
もう
see the
田
red
舎です
bricks
も
all
んね。
blocked up, cooked out, and just see here what
前
happened
回
to
み
the
たい
side of
に
this thing when it melted.
潰
Got
れてし
swollen,
まった大事ですね。
marshmallowing here, just getting all scorched up, cooked out. More marshmallowing
ですね。
here, swollen heat expansion, mangling of the building,
まあ、
balloon
今日は
rocking,
この
all melted red bricks. You can still see
タルタリア
remains
メル
of
トダウンでも見な
some
がら
archway in here, it
寝
looks
て、
like.
寝てくださ
And
い。
here, but it's all melted down
あ、
and
子
rock
守歌、
curtain
子守
filled
歌。
out
なんか
now,
ミュー
so
ジック、
it's difficult to
やっぱりちょっとあれしないとなんない
see
ですね。
if you have
あ、
eyes
こ
on
れ
the
から本
train.
当
See here
夜、
the heat damage. It's just incredible.
子守歌
You
な
can
んか
hear
流
the
せるような
sound
ミ
in
ュー
your
ジッ
mind
ク、
from the
こっちは
bricks
暇です
just
けど
being
ね。
cooked out
いいかもし
and
れないで
fried
す
and
ね。
devastated.
ミュ
More
ージック
cooked
流
out
しな
bricks
が
here,
ら。
all turned into yeah, what they call rocks and stuff.
まあ自分はまだ今からなん
Call
で
it
すけど。
rocks. And they
で、
call
今日
it
休みなんですよ。
cobblestone and
だ
everything.
か
They
ら、
all made up a bunch of
まあ
stuff
この
just
ままちょっと流しとこうかなとか思
deceive
いな
to
がら。
hide your true nature of reality from you. So here as well, you see a balloon rocking, swelling here, heat expansion.
う
You would
ん、
never
そうです
build
ね。
on this.
うん
You never did. Nobody ever did. It's all melted. Here as well, heat
いや、もうこ
expansion.
れ、
Here, melting
これ
down,
写真作っ
turning
たん
into
じゃないかな
what
って
people think
ね。
is a mountain.
加工してないですかね、これ。
It's all melted buildings, my friends.
いつも思うんですよね。
Another
ジョージ
one.
ムさんずっと見続けてるんですけどね。
You see the swelling and heat expansion on the side here.
なんか
And
も
the
う、
melt, and it's just in the middle of nowhere on the top of this. And do you think they had flying donkeys to get all these bricks up here to build it? Another building just merged and fused into the melt here. This is in Greece, the Meteora Monastery, or whatever they claim it's called.
すごいで
And
す
you got
ね。
this
これ
pocket of
本当だ
survival
ったら
here,
す
all
ごいですね。
fused
どう
into
や
the
って
melt.
この
Impossible to build
ブロ
like
ックを
this.
溶かしたかですよね。それが知りたいですよね。
It's just a pocket of
どうい
survival.
う技術で。
Here as well, heat climbed all the way up. Didn't manage to go all the way to the roof, but it came up pretty far, and
すべ
this
て
is
ヒート
what
ダ
it
メージ
did
って言っ
with
て
the
るんです
building.
ね。
Look at it now. Yeah,
うん。そう思う
it's not a mountain. More impossible to build stuff, and
こ
also
れもですよ。
no
そういえ
reason
ば
to build stuff. You got these pockets of
あれです
survival
ね。
going
あ、
all
ミ
the
キさん
way
の
up
っていうか。
to the top and across and up here,
正しいですね。
and the rest is just, yeah.
で
You
し
see how
ょ。
mangled it is. Nobody built like this. So let's build a wall
そ
here
りゃそうでしょ。
in
こん
this
な山
zigzag
のてっぺんと
fucking
か、この
pattern for no
ちょこちょ
fucking
ここんな
reason.
立てるわけがない。メルトダウンしたって考えるの
How
が、
dumb people are. So here
正しい
you
でし
see
ょ。
another
という
structure,
ことは、と
very
んで
top
も
of
ない
it.
人口だっ
Everything
たっ
else
て
melted
こと
down.
じゃないですか、昔。
Pocket of survival, and the rest is just turned into this now. Here again, fused into the melt below it. Fused into the melt. How the fuck did I get all the bricks up here to build this? Why the fuck is it so damaged? You almost have nothing left.
不思議ですよね。
Should we believe the
知りたい。
official explanation
寄生
from
虫どもに
from
聞きたい。どうやっ
pedophiles?
てしたか。
Is that a good idea, do you think? Do you think they're telling you the truth in schools and media and so-called science,
本当
aka
にそう。
pseudoscience, all that nonsense they're coming with
うん、
to trick you,
そう。
to fool you, so you never can understand your reality?
うん。
So you stand in line
うん。
and let them put something inside your veins. Balloon rocked, blocked up here, mangled, heat expanded here, pockets of survival, melting,
すごいことですよね。
cooking, pocket of survival. You see the bricks going all the way down here, very mangled, of course.
赤レンガですよ。これ全部赤レンガが変化したって言ってるんでしょ、ジョージムさん。
And here you see this structure again, just from lower down. So you see this zigzag fucking wall going down here, and here you see more of the structure and remains of something here. You see water flowing, plumbing systems still working, and they can pump water out still, and they call it waterfalls and all kinds of stuff now, lakes. And so here you got more down here. That's a very bad photo, but you see the building here all melted, and it's tipped over and sliding down towards the right. I think I have a new photo of it later on. Here you see the melt heat coming up, and it's just melting down here. Similar damage to what we have seen plenty
確かに
of
自分がやる
times.
のは、それからもう、あれですね。あとは、アーカイブで。
Another little pocket of survival here.
まあ、ちょっと、
You see the bricks churning here. You see some expansion going on here.
アメリカっていうか、
More here on the inside.
これジョージムさんはノ
Swallow
ルウェ
here.
ーですよね、確か。
Mangling the
まあ、どっか
building.
ですけどね。
Almost nothing left.
いろいろ海外の
Here are more
動画
pockets.
流していきたいと思い
Got
ま
some
す。
stairs
どういう
here.
流れしてるか。
All turned into this
日本語出るからいいですよね。
cobblestone looking
まあちょっと言ったらダメですけどね。
shit. Whatever they call cobblestone, right?
で、このジョー
Cobblestone
ジム
doesn't
さんなん
exist.
か
It's all
もう、あれですよね。
fried
めちゃ
up,
くちゃですよね。
mangled,
だ
swollen
からいいで
bricks.
すね。
Here it's some other building heat from the bottom
Heat
as
damage,
usual,
yeah.
and it came up here, and now you see
もうフラッ
enormous
トアースは
block
当たり前で
lines
しょ
instead of
う。
brick
も
lines
う
because
タ
of
ルタ
heat
リアメルトダウ
expansion.
ンですよ。
You see remains of more structure inside here,
これもっす
all
よ。
melted down, of course. This was all components on a circuit board. They built the earth like a circuit board, and
サーキ
it
ット
got
ボードってい
melted,
う考
and
え
now we
方
live
も
in the ruins and remains.
正し
See
い
the
と思います
scorching
ね
here.。Heat damage, the color, you can see it's been
要する
cooked
に、
out.
フリーエネルギ
More pockets of
That-
survival.
that-
This is all melted building here. You still see C14 in
ー。だから
it.
球体では絶対
A lot of red down here.
ありえないです
You
もんね。
see an
フラットアース
archway
だから
all filled
こ
out.
うい
You
うこと
see
が成り
here
立つんですもんね。
swelling, balloon rocking a
だか
little
らもう
bit
フラッ
here,
トアースは当たり前な
mangling.
んですよ。
You see the bricks getting blocked up and rocked up here.
もうそ
Heat
の
expansion,
段階はもう通り
cooking.
越してますね。もう今からは
More
メルトダウ
melted
ンですよ。
buildings, remains of an archway
タ
here,
ルタリアで
possibly.
すね。
Very melted, of course. At the very, very, very top, you can see more blocks. Can't go further up. And you see some hole here. You see some stuff with a bullshit narrative here, it looks like.
確かに帽子。
More rocked up
うん
bricks. Remains of apertures here, possibly. Nobody built there. Here it is again. Yeah, much better. Okay. The whole building here, you see the pancake brick lines in here. You see them cooked into block
要するにこの
lines.
ラインの
You
あ
see
れ
the
パンケー
structure,
キ
just see the overall shape of it.
要
It's a
する
building
に
with
建
pockets
物
of
だったってこ
survival
と
here
です
on
ね
the top. The very, very top of this building survived. Barely.
す
Just
ご
a
いこと
tiny,
ですよ。
tiny
これが
bit there.
建物だったって。
How did they even
前
get
だった
up
らこ
there
れ
to build this?
山としか見
And you
て
see
なかっ
how
たで
it's
すもんね。
tilted
で考えたら本
towards the
当建
right
物
here.
です
So
よ。
it started to sink down
だから
on
で
this
すよ。日
side
本の
here
山、
into the
建物だと
melt,
考えた方がいいです
into
ね。
all this was melt
で、みん
here.
な山掘っ
This
た
is
ら
brick
とか言っ
ash
てるでしょ。
now.
山なんて掘れるもんじゃないと思うんですよ。
Brick ash.
石の塊でしょ。
And here we have seen
人
it
殺
before,
して
but we're
山
gonna see it
に埋める
again.
とか、あれは全部嘘ですよ。
Pockets of
そんなことで
survival
きない
here.
できない。
You see some wall going all the
山
way
は石
down
の塊
here,
だ
all
って
melt
だか
flooded
ら建
from
物だ
here,
っ
of
て。
course. You see the angle of everything. Huge melt coming down,
山
flowing
は石。
down. People think it's a mud flood, but they haven't done the research. Here, all swelling, cooking. You can see the angle of everything here. Unless the camera is tilted, then the angle of everything here is just not built like this. It's all sinking down.
ですね。
And you see a wall going up here. You see more towers on the top and more stuff on the top.
すご
All
いこ
melted
とですよ
buildings.
ね。どうやってこんなことやったか。
Yeah, see the swelling
徐々
here.
にしていったか、
You
それ
see
と
a
も
patch of bricks
一撃で
laying
全
here,
て
all
を
cooked out.
破壊
Little
し
more
尽く
bricks
したか。
here. See here what happened to the bricks. Here, more bricks over
すごい
there,
ですよ。
more
これ
bricks
考
in
えたら
here.
本当溶けてますもんね。
Cooked out,
こ
rocked
れが
up,
溶けた
scorched
と
bricks
しか
down
思えま
here.
せんもんね。ほら。
More bricks cooked into block lines here, all mangled. Bricks all over the place. Heat damage coming up, swelling the building, melting it, mangling it, cooking it.
そう
Look
です
here how
ね。
fried it is. The color and everything here. Just coming up here. Expanding, and you
あ、
see
この
here
人
how
の
it's
動画のあれ
tearing the
は
bricks
下
apart
載してないです
a
けど。
little bit as it expands. See the brick lines in the expansion here, swelling, marshmallowing here, getting all mangled and cooked, fucked up. See how scorched it is. Another one heat coming up here, and you see they turn into huge fucking blocks down here. You see an archway here for no reason, because it
これ
used
から
to be
でも
building
ジョージ
down
ムさ
here
ん
as well,
と
but
あ
now
と
it turned
もう一
into
人
this.
だ
You
って
see more
ドクター
straight
ロン
line
ゴ
starting
の
to
動画を
make big ass
流
blocks
してい
here.
きたいと思って
This
ま
X
すね。
Factor
まだいっ
event.
ぱいあるんですけどね、海外。みんなすごいですよ。素
Some
晴
kind
ら
of
しい動
bridge,
画です
pocket
よ。
of survival. You see the archway here going into the
みんな
melt.
何
You
万
see the
人超え
bricks in
の
the archway
YouTube です
all
よね。
melted and swollen, damaged and cooked. I wouldn't trust
で、
this
みんな
bridge
チ
too
ャットをあ
much.
れしたら、使って
All
いいって
balloon rocked
許可もあっ
red
たんで、
bricks.
ど
Little
んどん
pocket of
使わせ
survival
て
here
もら
and
おうと
bridge
思っ
between
て
two
ます。
buildings. One here and one here.
まあ自分ちょっとエンドさんみたいに訳したり
Here,
とか、そんなことで
pocket of
きないん
survival
で、
again. All scorched. You see it on the
もうこれ
color.
でちょっと勘
Bricks
弁
just
しても
rocked
らい
up.
たいと思います。
Swollen heat expansion, melt flooding. See the angle of everything here. Going all the way down here, and there is more up here. Some melted buildings. All melted buildings. Nobody built like this. How do you build like this? And why do you build like this? Simple, you don't.
Don't. その通
And
り。
here is, of course, what they will claim is carved. You can clearly see the melt. You see the remains of molds here,
って
concrete
考
molds
える
and
の
their
が
designs.
正しいですね。
And you see the scorching on this
こんなものを
columns.
こうやって立てるってこと自体がおかしいですよね。溶けた
Why
っ
the
て考え
fuck
るのは
would you
絶対
need
正し
these
い。
columns here? For this tiny
で
little
もどうやっ
hole
て
in
溶け
here,
た
and
か
this
です
is
ね。
a
それが
mountain, it can
わかんないから
easily support itself for this little hole here.
ダメで
You
すも
would
んね。
never
そ
need
の
these columns here.
証明できないですもんね。
It's because it's a part of a circuit board. It was a component and it's fried now. Just look at it.
この
Melting
先で
down,
も
rock curtaining here, viscous holes all cooked out and mangled. It's very easy, guys. Here more so-called carvings from the explanation of from the pedophiles, of course. Another little tiny hole in here, and you have 3 fucking fat ass columns here. You wouldn't need it. This whole so-called mountain would be able to support this little hole by itself. It's nonsense. It's a melted building. The fucking insides collapsed, so now it's just a little opening left here. But
Really
it's
good
scorched. You
content
can see
there.
it from the
Share
color
around
and
all that
everything.
fun
It's just
stuff.
fried concrete molds around here, scorching, melting here around this. You see the difference between this and this. It's all melted and cooked. Here again, they claim it's carved. It's clearly been melted. You can see it's scorched, and it's just a little tiny hole in here, and then another tiny hole into something else. You would never need these columns, big ass fucking columns, to support this. It can support itself, this little hole here. And yeah, you need to fucking crawl into this hole to get in there. It's nonsense. Just look, it's all melted. And similar thing, just remains of a fried component on a circuit board, and you got these columns again, which you would never need. You got two fat ass supports on the side here, and all it is above is this little, little roof here. You don't need these columns, but you can see these designs, etc. is exactly the same as we see on the components in good condition, but this one has been fried. It's been melted now. Also looks like you got a big ass door here from the old walled big doors for big people, and they just tore it down here to make an entrance for regular sized humans. So they were 2 and 3 times as big as what we are now, at least some of the vessels they had. It's all a fried component. And here, of course, we have seen it before. You see it all in the background, all blocked up, all turned into blocks here. You see the melting and rock curtain coming down, starting to cover buildings here.
こんなのも不思議ですもん
See the
ね。
Antiquitech here, and then you see
もの
these
すごい
two
だから
things and this
大
little
産地
building
が
here
起きたんで
sticking
しょう
through
ね。
the
こ
rock
んな
curtain
に全
and
部溶
melt.
かして。
And of course, very mangled at the top here. Similar ruins to what we had just have seen 40 photos of. Same location. What's interesting here is this stuff in the back here. Oh, it looks like some kind of blocks. You see some openings in it still. See more openings here. Something weird going on there. Here as well, big ass block lines, more openings in it. See a little pocket of survival here. Huge angle on the melt flood. Here are those again. Here are these again, sticking through the rock curtain. Nobody ever built like this. The melt is coming down here.
カーテン。
And it's melting down and covering the
すごい
building
ですよね。
that's
溶けて
here.
その
Okay,
流れ。
these
ど
things
う
here
やってやるかですよね。
are all a part of a building that's under this huge rock curtain now.
核の力でできるん
Melt
ですか
flooded,
ね。
rock curtained. You see an opening in here, more rock curtain, and you see the brick lines under the rock curtain. This one requires a little trained eye, but I know the eagle eye crew is here, so you can see what it is. You see scorching, and you see some fucking apertures in here. And this one just fucking fell backwards and into the goddamn melt here, okay? Because this aperture is downwards now. It's a hole in the fucking ground. It's supposed to be vertical. So yeah, you see here, this is slightly more upwards. This one all got filled out, this aperture here. This building just tipped backwards.
うん。
Pretty crazy.
すべて。
And
です
here
ね
another opening in a melted
溶けた
buildings.
って考
And of
えるのは
course there is dumb Titan
正しいでし
fucking
ょうね。
believers here who probably think this
こ
is
の
a
写真
Titan
が本
pussy
物
or
だったら
something.
ですよ。
I don't know. It's just incredible how much nonsense some of these people come with.
うん
So yeah, that was everything short video today. I'm trying to do a little short videos, a little longer videos, and of course some live streams will be
あ
coming
ともう
up
一本ぐらいいきますか。
as well. Doing a little, variation here, so we can try to find content for all people. Not everybody have time to watch a 3-hour video, and you know how it is. People won't watch 20 minutes of a 3-hour video every day. You just know how it is. It won't
まあ
work.
夜の
So
夜長に
I'm doing a little bit of everything. Sometimes I go
Right,
fast,
don't do it.
sometimes I go slow, trying to find something or make something for everyone. So everybody can learn about this. Doing different styles, trying this out, see what is successful, see what's not, and stuff.
うん
So
タルタルやつ
yeah,
長いです
thank you
ね
everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you saw some interesting evidence. I hope you learned something. And if you can,
これが
please
いいんじゃないですか、
hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe button if you can. Because it all right, friends, are you ready for more evidence that shows proof that mountains are not mountains? Mountains doesn't exist.
じゃあ、ちむさんですね。
They are nothing more than melted buildings. That's right, melted buildings. The only problem is you have been deceived from the moment you was born here in this place. They tricked you with school indoctrination
そうだ。
programs and politics, fake news stories, and also deception in the movies to manipulate the way you view your reality. So when you go out there in nature and you see one of these formations, you think you see something that came from tectonic plates billions of years ago and shit. But that's a lie. And I'm doing my best here to try to prove it to you.
うん。
So the only thing I'm asking from you is that you put everything you thought you knew to the side for a moment while you're watching these videos. This one, the upcoming ones, and also if you have the time, please go back and watch the older videos as well, especially the documentary. You'll find them on my channel here, because there is tons of evidence, thousands and thousands of photos that I have shown, gone through them in detail, even brought the pen out and did some drawing on them to explain to you what we are actually looking at. So I don't think there is anything else I want to say before we get started, other than you're fucking awesome and I love you. So let's get to it, okay, friends? Let's get to it. Beautiful, wonderful people.
うん、これを持つ。
So again, like what we have seen plenty of times on this channel, is a formation that looks something like this, because many of them look very similar, because they used to be similar buildings that melted. Of course, the outcome will
あ、
be
でもこう
similar.
したら
The thing here about formations like this is the mainstream nonsensical dumbasses. They tell you that some primitive people came here and carved
あ、
these
これ、うん。
openings, these windows and doors into
で、
this
この画面
mountain,
を
right? That's
こう
nonsense.
したらいいでしょ。
What this used to be was a huge red brick building that melted down because of the X Factor event.
Yeah.
Intense heat coming very often from the bottom. Looks
こんな
like
感
an
じでしょ。
overload of electricity that came through from the bottom, climbed through the buildings. The buildings got fucking hot and they melted.
うん。
And then densified, which seems to be a pretty rapid happening on its own. When it densified, happened very fast. But this is the outcome of it. Looks like this. And then, they came along and they wanted to hide this from you, so you don't know what was really taken from us, the glorious old world empire.
ね
So they came up with
どうやっ
lies
て
to deceive
溶か
you.
すそれが
And I'm gonna attempt my best to help you break this programming so you can see these formations for what they truly are meant to be. Next one. Here, those are not
これカッパド
Titan
ッキーでしょ
cocks. Okay. I know they look like dicks, but they are not. Okay. This used to be some kind of towers with spires, probably antiquitech on the top, etc. Red bricks, and they just melted. And you know, you have plenty of them. You can even see one of the openings here. What could have been a door or a window, who knows? But yeah, this is also just tops of buildings that's melted, not penises. And here another so-called cliffside, whatever they call this, a mountain. And just look at all this concrete-looking thing that's just melting down, and you can still recognize this section of the building is still pretty much intact here. This is what we call a pocket of survival, because for some fucking reason, this section managed to survive. We can still recognize it. Nobody carved this. It's a good lie, yeah, the carving thing, but that's not what we're seeing here. Just look at, you have to recognize the details you can see in some of these formations here. They look exactly like the buildings they built with these column-looking things here, and you know, you even got something over there. Why carve something over there for no reason? Do you know how much time it takes to carve something like this? And even in primitive times with bronze chisels and hammers, it's impossible. It's plain impossible. This is just the remains of a melted building. Just keep an open mind, my friends, okay?
Open mind.
Here as well, you get this section here. Can I draw? Okay. This area here is what we call pocket of survival, because you can still see some of the structure of the building. But the rest of it, just look at this. This was all red bricks, and they melted down, started to rock curtain itself, the whole building. The building came over itself and covered whatever was underneath. But here in this area, all of this melt here didn't manage to cover all of it, so we can still see what's underneath right here. But here we cannot. So that's why it was rock curtained, the whole thing here. We've seen this. I know some of the photos for the Eagle Eye crew, the ones we already know. Some of the photos will be shown again and again and again, but that's because there is constantly coming new people on here, and evidence like this is just so good that I have to show it again to the new people. And I know that many people will not take the time to go back and watch all the videos, of course, because it will take so long. So it's understandable. So that's why I'm just gonna show some of the photos again. But I'm trying to keep most of the photos as new evidence that I haven't shown before. Here, another melted building, looking very concretey. And just see, you can still see openings here. Here, some kind of wall up here, just very, very damaged and melted, almost beyond recognition. But the Eagle Eye crew can still see what this used to be. That wasn't the biggest photo, so I will zoom a little bit on this one, so you can hopefully see it better. And this is like the same as we saw 2 photos ago. You see the same kind of, you can recognize some of the structure here, openings, doors, windows, some stairs here. You know, you see some of the shapes that was in the building before it melted. But now it looks like this because it got very fried, cooked, and damaged. By the way, most of the photos from today is from Pinterest. Has amazing photos. There is amazing photos on there, but you know that the resolution ain't the greatest. You know, I can't get full screen photos from there. So it just gotta be like this today. I'm sorry. I've shown this before as well, but yeah, just if you're new to this, just picture melted buildings instead of carvings, and when you look at this, and what you think, because this was a huge building and it melted, and some of the openings and the structure here, structural value still remained here, so you can still, you can still recognize it. Nobody carved this shit.
確かに。あんなとこだけ掘るわけがない。
And here, this is a street somewhere, and this is the current ground level up here, with these bushes here and little trees. And then if you start digging, you find brick walls going down, windows and shit under the ground. And that raises a couple of questions. And one of them is, how deep do this building go, right? This structure here. Because this is obviously some remains of an old building that was here in the past. How deep will it go if you keep digging? I don't know. And why is it underground? Why is it buried here? There is explanation for this as well. People call it mud floods. Personally, I call it melt floods or brick floods, whatever. And I have explained this in previous videos as well, but I can do it again very fast, very quickly right now. And that is because when these buildings melted, sometimes they turned into a kind of a liquid when they melted, and it started to flow everywhere. These buildings was huge, okay? Picture mountain-sized buildings, and they are melting. That's a lot of mass that has to go somewhere. That creates the brick flood, because all this building melt start to flow and bury whatever is surrounding it, and then it densifies and breaks down into sand and mud and clay and all kinds of stuff. That's my explanation of the mud flood and why so much things are buried here in this place. This one, melted building, from a melted building perspective, this is a very self-explaining picture here. Still see openings, you can see some of the spire's domes on the top, very damaged and melted, but still recognizable as a building. If you got the eyes to see, that is. Just keep looking at these photos and think for yourself, because it's not as crazy as it sounds like if you're new to this, if you just keep looking at them. And here, I think this is the area we saw in the last video. Just we saw it from a bird's eye view last time. So this is down on the ground level, and you can see the pockets of survival here, all these brick walls, buildings here and openings. And now up at the top here, it didn't do very well, and now it turned into this very destroyed building here, and they call it a cliff. That's nonsense. It's not real. It's not a cliff. It's a melted building. And here again, just a little impression in the building melt that's still recognizable. They call this the dwarf's door or something. I don't know the size of this door, but you still got some of the columns melted, of course, and everything around it very melted. Nobody carved this. This is just a pocket of survival. And here, another pocket of survival, old wall building, and you can see the bottom here. You know, heat coming from the bottom, climbing up through the bricks, frying it, cooking it, making it turn into this messy looking thing here. Swelling, heat expansion, melting, you know, what heat can do to things is what's happening here, if that makes sense. I hope so, my friends. And here, I think this was in Greece. I think we have seen this before, but you can see pockets of survival on the top here. I hope this isn't too small for you guys. Here, pocket of survival on the top, and the rest of the building just looks like a mountain. It's so cooked. thoroughly cooked here that you can't recognize anything. This is not a natural formation. This wasn't formed from tectonic dumbfuckness plates from billions of years ago, because it's not even a globe. There is no tectonic dumbfuckness plates there. So how can this be?
だからやっぱり
What is
下から
this?
熱が
It's a
加わ
flat
った
plane. So what are
って考
mountains?
えるの
Why are
は
they here?
妥当
That's
や
what I'm
上
trying
か
to
らじゃな
explain
く
to
て
you. And also you gotta think here, if this was built, say, 500 years ago or whatever they say, how the fuck do you bring these materials here? All these bricks and stones, whatever they used
本当だ
up
よ
here in primitive times. How do you do
う
that?
んジョージもその考え
How is
方
that
らしい
possible?
ですね
I don't know. I can't find it possible. That's why I'm raising the questions. And here at the coast, the ocean is, of course, flood waters. This is the flood. And just see here, these arches, this little bridge thing. And look here how melted it got here and damaged. This, I'll draw it for you. Here. Heat expansion, swelling, melting, cooking, getting fucked up here. This is a
Yes,
part of the
yeah.
building. This used to look like this. And this is also cooked, by the way. This used to be red bricks. But the red bricks can do magic tricks and turn into these stones and stuff when they got cooked and fried and damaged.
全部
They
赤レンガって
changed
言ってるんですよ
properties. Here,
すごいっす
this
ね
is in
考え
France,
ら
I
れない
think.
ですね
Not that it matters, but if I remember the location, I will mention it. But it doesn't matter because it's in this fucked up realm somewhere. And you can see here, this wall, windows, doors, is, I'll
データメス
draw it
の
down
F
here.
ワーズ
So you see this
バカ使いですもんね
and how it's
日本語
just fused in
いい
together
ですか
on
ね
each
バンバン使って
either side
よ
here.
くバンされない
This
です
is
よね
that's because this used to be a part of this building, but this one melted here on either side, and then it started to heat expand from the sides and started to cover this
こ
wall
れ
here.
ですよこういう
That's what's
光景
happening
日本に
here.
も山ほどあるでしょ
Believe it or not, that's what I see. That's what the Eagle Eye crew sees. So this is a building. This is a pocket of survival.
ということですよ
And it's just completely damaged.
だから日本のあれも
And we also
見
got
た
a
方がいいです
tunnel. I
よ
don't know if they dug this
この
out
光
in
景よ
modern
くあるで
times
しょほ
or
ら
if it was already an arch opening
初
here.
めか
No
らあっ
idea.
た
But they can still
が正
drive
解です
cars
ね
through
初
here.
めからっていうか建物だったっていうのが正解ですよ
And here I show you, sometimes I will show you photos of old wall buildings like this, because this is one that survived. One of the small ones, of course. The mountain-sized ones are all melted, but you still have many buildings looking similar to this all across this plain, everywhere, in every
あ、ユー
city.
ハッピーさん、こん
Basically,
ばんは。
you find buildings like this. And this is from the old wall.
すごいですね、こん
And
な
if
遅
you're
くま
new
で。
to it, you just gotta
大丈夫です
think
か
of
今日は
electricity here when you see something like this.
ジョージも
Because
さ
you
ん
have
の
these antennas,
メルト、
very often made
タル
of
タリアメ
copper,
ルトダウ
etc.
ン
And you
動
see
画流してます。
one main antenna in the
だったら
center,
見て
and
ください。
very often here you have four more. Hold on. You have one antenna on the top in the center. Then you have four more here, four more here. This side and this side, we can see them because they're on the other side of the building, but you know what I mean. And then we got here 1, 2, 3, and one on the other side, 4. And you just get this. Imagine this electricity coming from top,
ああ
jumping
要する
down
にこれ
and into the building,
Free ener-
powering everything from the free energy ether.
ね。
Here as well, you see this antenna. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
あ、あり
4.
が
You
とうご
see
ざいま
this?
す。やっぱり
Yeah,
日本語の字
identical
幕出した
pattern
方がいいでしょ。
basically everywhere.
これはいいっすよね。
And look at all this copper, Antiquitech, whatever they are. And see the glorious architecture, the detail, red bricks, upgraded concrete molds on the outside of the bricks. That's the white you see
あれ
here.
でちょっ
The
と
arches.
いきますかね、
Just
自分の
notice
シリーズとし
quality
て
of architecture
いいかもしれない
compared
ですね。
to today's buildings. And here, this is from, this photo is taken early 1900s, I think it is. And here again, you see something like this. the early 1900s or late 1880s. I don't understand. No, I don't. Sorry, I don't remember.
Sure.
But it's an early photo, and you see something like this. And the first thing that comes to my mind is that's fucking electric. What do you think? And these buildings here in the back, all these antennas everywhere. It's electric.
ですよね。
I will zoom on this. I think this was in China. I might be mistaken, so don't kill me if I am. And just look what you see here. A so-called mountain, and you see a wall in here, melted into it. More
すごいですよね。
patterns up here. And then you get these walkways.
もう本当
I
建
think they
物
are
だ
just
ったとしか
halfway
もう最
buried
近見えませ
in
んもん
this
ね。
building here. Because this was a big red brick building. It
昔だと
started
こ
to
れ、
melt and
山
expand, and
で住んだ
it started to
話
cover itself from the inside and out,
でも考えたらすごいですもんね。
from the top and down. Started to melt down. Rock curtain. Interesting evidence, don't you think? And here, very obvious that this shit is melted, to me at least. You see some stairs here, still remained a little bit, and then you see some openings, doors, windows, whatever, barely any, but some are there. And just look how melted it is, guys. Looks like goddamn melted ice cream. Fried, cooked, damaged, not
Damage.
a natural formation, and nobody carved anything here. Another melted building, the front of it barely survived, but it survived. You can recognize it as a building. Nobody carved anything, and the top is just completely muffed up, fucked up. Look at all the holes here from the viscousness, started to bubble, and then it densified, and this is the result of it. Another, are they too small? I don't hope so. Sorry if the photos are a little weird in the resolution. They are a little tall and not as wide, but will do. It will do it for now. I might find other photos for my next video. I'll just have to look through this after and see how it is. But yeah, melted building, openings here, column. Still see some square structure up here. More openings, just completely mangled. And notice the red as well. Sometimes they're still red, even if they're fucked. Here is a right scale photo for you guys. Just wanted to show you some ruins. More ruins from the old world. You can see here these big blocks, the red bricks. They got heat expanded and they turned into big blocks in some cases. Nobody built like this. This was just normal red bricks. All of this, everything here in this photo used to be red bricks. Now they're big blocks. Heat expansion.
ですね。
And you see, look at this stairway down here. How far down will it go? What's underneath here? I want to find out.
赤レンガだった。
And here, pocket of survival on the top, pockets down here at the bottom. And you can see the heat coming from the bottom here, climbing up
全体が
and
建
just
物だった。
completely mangling the building. You can see some arches here buried or fused into the melt here
本当だったですよ。
around
写真が
around
本
the
物だ
top.
ったですね。
Heat expanded, imagine this. Buildings are always straight down,
うん
So look at this, what happened to it. All the melt expanding and melting down, and this is the result of it. Very good evidence here. Melted building. Survived at the top because the heat came up to here, and then the X factor stopped, and this managed to survive because of it. This is a very popular photo in the mud flood research group, and the street level used to be about here, and then you dig it up, and then you go further down and you see arches and all kinds of stuff. far under the ground. All around here. Look here. Street level here, and you see arches way the fuck down underground. So what's underneath us, guys? And how far down? Do you realize that we live on top
すべて
of
メル
ruins?
トダウ
Everywhere is
ン、マッ
ruins.
ドフラット。
Because it used to be a plain white electric city here in the past that melted. And then we are the inheritors. We just came and started to build on top of it. So excuse me, English, fuck. How, now I even forgot
ノルウェーだ
what
か
to
ら
say.
英語じゃないですもんね。で偉いっすよ
Yeah, how many buildings will be intact but still underground, right? What if you dig down and you find huge buildings that's still there, just buried? How far down? 100 meters, 200 meters? I don't know. I really want to know, but you know, it's difficult. I want to know how far down it goes before we find a real ground level, because the thing is, none of us, not me, not you, have ever seen the real ground. We have just seen building melt, building ash, you know, mud, they call it, sand, they call it, mountains, they call it, you know, islands and shit. But they are not, it's not the earth itself, it's not the earth, it's remains of buildings. Old photo, don't know the location, I'm sorry, because I don't care. And look at all these antennas here. Look at the glorious architecture. And this is the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and the reason it's leaning is because it was a tower standing straight, and then the ground becomes liquid and viscous, and the building starts to tip over, but then it densified, and bam, you have a leaning tower. Very easy, very simple explanation. Yeah, nobody built it like this. It's nonsense. It started to sink and fall. It wanted to tip over, but then it densified very fast. I don't know why. And here, pocket of survival, buried. They have, of course, you know, painted it and fixed it in more recent times. But the whole building is behind here, very mangled and destroyed. This section survived, and you can still use it, as you can see. People are living here still in a melted building.
ですよね。
You just put concrete, exterior
こんなと
concrete
こ掘るわけがない。
on here, and you paint it, and it will look like this. But it's a pocket of survival.
うん、ということですよね。
Another pocket of survival here. Can you see how it's starting to, you
これ
know,
もそうですよね。
the rock curtain here,
こ
the
んな
bigger
とこ掘
building
って作る
is
わけが
melting
ない。
down. It's a little
溶けたって考えるのは
difficult color maybe, but it's melting down and starting to cover this building around it. But then it densified, and you have a building halfway in the mountain, because this was viscous flowing down, rock curtaining down here, and it wanted to cover this building. If this was melting for longer, all of this mass would have, you know, covered this whole thing, and like this, and we would never be able to see it. But
うん、
lucky for us, the X Factor didn't last that long, so we can still find shit like this. Pockets of survival, halfway buried. And look what happened to the red bricks here. Turned into stones and blocks. Completely cooked. Here, another interesting little thing. Up here you can see cooked, very cooked
でもですよ
arch.
ど
And you
う
see
やっ
the
てこ
bricks
の部
here.
分だけ残
Almost
して
turning into mud. Looks
Well,
like
you
it's turning
got
into
gas,
mud,
yeah.
starting to turn into mud
Well,
at
that's
least
good
around
use,
here.
isn't it?
But some of it survived, and you can still live in it. See here, very, very interesting evidence, guys. Another pocket here, and you gotta think, people. This brick building here. How do you build like this?
ですよね。
I have the answer. You don't. You don't build like this.
Mm.
This is a pocket of survival. The whole building, the whole mountain cliffside here is a building, and this section here survived. It didn't melt, and now we have some structures that's impossible to build because nobody built them like this.
ですよね。
It's
写真が
very
本
easy,
物だった
guys.
ですよ。
Simple. Very easy. More pockets of survival here. You can see how buried they are. The whole thing here is a melted building. And for some fucking reason, this did not melt. But the rest modified, I guess. Turned into sand mud. It's interesting. And here again you see a wall. Pocket of survival here. And the rock curtain is starting to come down from all sides. Heat expansion, etc. And starting here, you can see here, hold on, let me start over here. Sorry, I was a little too quick. You see here how it's starting to come from the side and cover the wall here and
で
here.
すよね、こんなの。
And it want to cover it, but it didn't have time to, and now we have this wall that's fused into the so-called mountain here.
死ぬまでに
Because
知
it's
り
a
たいです
melted
ね。
building, and this is a pocket of survival.
これが知りたいですね。どうやって溶かしたか。
And pocket of survival, and the rest, you can see many
これも
openings here, all over the place. Turn into
す
dust
ごいことです
here.
よ。これ
That's
全部
what
建物なん
sand
だっ
is.
た
It's
ら。
really building ash. It's dustified. All of this buildings. This what was
あ、そうで
very,
すか。
very
今、ハッ
hot.
ピンさん。
See all the
ありがとうご
openings
ざい
here.
ま
It's
す。
very fascinating.
でしょ
But for some reason, this section did not melt, and then you have a
こん
pocket
な
of
の
survival,
絶
and
対。
people are living there because you can. Inheritors
確かにでもそうですよね。
down
赤レン
here,
ガ、自分も
arches,
そうなんです
melted,
よ。小さい
cooked,
時からずっ
damaged.
と、家の周り赤レンガだらけだったん
And
で
this
す
is
よ。
also famous. Shown this before, but I'm showing it again
だ
because
から
it's
ですよ。
amazing. It's amazing evidence here.
どうやっ
Melted
てこれを
buildings. You
溶
can
か
see
し
the
たか
imprints here, columns,
知りたいですね。
arches, and over here as well. And the rest
で、この
just
赤レンガっ
completely
てい
melted.
うのは、その鉄
And you
分
can see some
の
arch openings,
赤らしい
very
です
cooked
ね。
here
な
in
んか
the
山田
front.
先生が言ってたんですよ。
See some
だから
arches
熱を吸
openings,
収する
etc.
っていう話ですよ。
Other
だからそこら辺
loneliness, I don't
が
know what
問
that
題で
is,
すよ
but
ね。
look at these melted buildings.
あ、これこうしたいのか。
Do you see it? See, this is the same as the second photo
Yes,
of
yeah.
the dicks. Same kind of spires at the top that melted, of course.
興味
That
深いですね。
possibly
確か
had
に
Antiquitech features to it. And look down here, how melted it is. Cooked.
ですよ。
And this one, I'll zoom in for you so you can see better. Look at this for a melted building. Pocket of survival. Columns.
でもレ
See
ンガ
some of
と
the
か、
bricks turn
耐
into
火レンガと
blocks,
かあ
and
るか
down
ら、それ
here
焼いて
starting to
も、
melt and get deformed. The windows here, or doors, whatever they
わ
are.
かんないですよね。
And up here, completely mangled and fucked up. Fucked up. Sorry, let's see. Okay. And here.
これも
Yeah.
ですよ。
Look what happened to the bricks here, guys.
全部レンガだって。
You see? This is a cooked and mangled building. You can see the arch getting covered, fused together into that so-called mountain on either side. Because this was heat expanded here, bubbling, swelling around it.
だ
And
か
the
ら、
bricks got mangled,
自分の、
cooked
自分
here,
っていうか、
turned
日
into
本で
these
も家
messy
の周りのなん
stones
か
and
赤
blocks.
土とか、あそこら辺全部昔はレンガだったっていう可能性
This
もあるって
swelling
ことで
of
す。
the building. Messy. Oh, that was a small photo. I'll zoom a little back, not as
こ
sharp
れなんか
quality,
自
but
分
you
に
can
行きま
still
したもん
see
ね。アメリカ
what it
の
is.
そのアリゾナとか
Tops of
テキサスと
buildings,
かあ
tops
ち
of
らへん
buildings,
こん
tops
な
of
んばっかりで
buildings,
すよ。
all covered in
だから
or surrounded with building ash, brick
今
flood,
まで
melt
だと
flood
これは
here.
大
All
きな
this was
巨
buildings.
木っ
Yes,
て
all
思っ
this
てた
was
でしょ。
buildings.
ところ
Okay.
は実は
Got it?
建物だったってことでしょ。
And here, more zooming for you, you
五
can
遊
see
道です
a
ね。
building here,
寄生虫でも
buried
五
from
遊
the
道で
side.
すね。
pocket of survival, and the rest of it
山じゃないんです
very
よ。
melted,
木だっ
rock
たんじゃ
curtained.
ない
You
って
can't
ことです。
recognize what's
タルタリアの
underneath.
建物だっ
Was
た
a
って
huge
ことじゃ
building,
ないですか
and
ね。
this section here
ご誘
survived
導ですよ。
for
そ
some
こはま
fucking
た。
reason. And this one, I think I've shown this before, but this is also very interesting. You see the domes, the building structure here, the wall, and right here, you see how the building melt here came over it, right here, and it's getting swollen. Look, this here
ほら、
used
ど
to
うし
be
てそ
like
の、だから
this,
この、
but it got
こ
heat
の、その部
expanded
分
and
だけ残っ
fucked
た
up.
かですよ
And down
ね。
here you see
で、周りを
barely
溶かして
see
って。ど
openings,
ういう
remains of
技術なんでしょうね。
windows, openings,
これぐ
whatever.
らいは知りたいですね。
And yeah, it's just a pocket of survival. Up here is something more openings.
このジョージムさんと一緒だと思うんですよ。知りたいと思うんですよ。
Nobody built
必死で言ってるんですもんね。
More melted building. And yeah, you can see the brick lines here
これ全
are
部
not
ですよ。
horizontal. They started to slide down, sink down, I guess. Not horizontal here, but very, very mangled and
ライ
melted.
ン、これ絶対自然のもんじゃない
My
ですよね。
face is
絶
not in the
対
way.
だ
I
から
look
建
here
物だ
around
っ
this
た。
window.
この写真が
The
本
red
物だっ
bricks
た
are
んですよ
still intact. It's just an interesting
もう、
look here at
もう
the
本当
swelling.
ビルディング
This is a
とし
straight
か
wall,
も
and
う
look
見えて
down here
こないでし
how
ょ。
mangled it is, swollen, and heat expanded. And here, I wouldn't call this a pocket of survival, but you can still recognize the openings in some of these buildings. This one was very cooked,
おい
turned into ash mostly. Look here at the bottom with
こ
these
んなの
people.
も
Here,
う掘
how
っ
you can
たん
just
じゃ
take
な
your
く
hand
て
and
溶けた
it'll
っ
fall
て
through
思
your
った方が分かり
fingers.
やすい
Like,
でしょ。
you know, it's just ash.
アシ
The whole building
Yes,
here
yeah.
is. You can probably knock it off with a hammer or something very easily. Very cooked. And here, this is the one we saw earlier, but this is a little bit further away, so you can see it a little better here. How do you build this?
そうですよ。
Explain to me.
どうやって建てるんだってことでしょ。
This is one of the best evidences you have here. Just this is the pocket of survival. The rest of the building here is completely cooked, fucked up, and mangled beyond recognition here. Just look at it. But this little section here survived. Lucky for us, the Eagle Eye crew, so we can find the photos and show them to the world and make them see, make them understand. The whole background just building ash, nothing left, just destroyed wasteland basically. And here a pocket of survival. And you see the swelling up here. I can't draw when I'm zooming, I'm sorry. See the swelling, how the heat came from the bottom and it got mangled and cooked. But it survived. Another pocket of survival, barely. And the rock curtains
世界
started
中
to
だ
melt
から、
down from
も
the
う
top.
世界中
and
だから
started to
統一国
cover
家
it.
タルタリアだった。
Very, very, very destroyed
証明してるみたい
building
なも
here.
んですよね。
Melted buildings. My friends, melted buildings. And I just wanted to take this photo in as well. Just old wall technology, this steam locomotives just left out in somewhere in the middle of nowhere to decay, rot, and be forgotten.
すげえ。こんなとこあるんですかね。本当
Here, oh, beautiful. More old wall
これはフリ
technology,
ーエナジーですね。
Antiquitech antennas.
アンテナですね。うん。
Beautiful. And again, pocket of survival here. And you can see the goddamn bricks here turning into blocks. And you can also see how
全部赤レンガですよ。
this section of the building started to get buried from the side, from the rock curtain, heat expansion from the side here, the building here. And yeah, basically nothing left here. Here as well, starting to get covered from the top. And yeah, it's very destroyed. Ruins. And here, I don't know why there is this
顔ですね。
filter in the sky, but This is the remains. This is concrete mold statues from the old wall. Excuse me.
眠たい。
And when you see shit like this, you see there is nothing here to scale it with, but I picture this head here being pretty big. I don't know, maybe a man is up to, you know, fucking, if a man stands here, maybe his head is up to here or something. I don't know. But where is the rest of it? Right? Where is the rest of these heads here? How deep do they go? Or are they just heads?
体があるのか。
Shouldn't there be a huge fucking statue? And why is it buried?
あ
If so.
ってことか。
Here,
写真本物だ
cooked
った。
facade of a building. See the apex, columns. Same as this, yeah, one of the first photos in Jordan. You see it very cooked and damaged. Almost beyond recognition, but you can still see it, guys. This is melted. Do you start to see it? Please say yes. If you say yes, it will make my day better, okay? And here, pockets of survival on the top. You see the buildings going down. And here at the bottom, it started to get heat expanded and swollen, turning into block lines here. Bigger block lines.
すごいですよね
There's。something at the
全部
bottom
ブロッ
here.
ク、ブロックっていうか、明るいな。
And here,
写
heat
真
from
全部
the
本物
bottom
だったら
up here, swelling the building, cooking it,
どうなんですか
mangling it. And of course, all the red bricks turned into stones here, gray stones. This used to be red bricks. It's guaranteed, guys.
ギャランティーって言ってるでしょ。
And here you see
どうや
a
って
pocket of survival bridge
ポ
here.
ップコーンブロックにしたか
You can see
証
how
明
it's
できれば
buried and melted into the building here, down here. Is what was expanded too much.
ただ焼くだけじゃ
And then you
ない
have another one here. You still see the opening going over because you know they had bridges from fucking building to building. You know, imagine if these buildings was the size of a mountain, then far up in, on the fucking 500 floor, whatever, far up in the fucking sky, you had bridges over to the next buildings, to the next buildings. So you didn't have to go down and up for each building you went through. You could just fucking, you could, I bet there was people who lived up on the buildings on the top, or very high up at least, that probably never even went to the ground level. They just lived up there. So two bridges from the old wall, one going over it there and one over it here. Very melted. You can still recognize some of the walls, but they are very cooked and fucked. The background, extremely cooked and damaged. Red bricks, and then you have some pocket of survival here that's buried in
後ろの山
building
が
ash
建
here.
物だ
Very, very fine grains of sand. It's the last stage of the
赤だから
cooking.
やっぱ赤レンガだった
Thoroughly cooked, nothing left in it, just ash. That's sand, okay? Sand is not natural. It's devastated red bricks. And here, this was in France,
全て
I
ですよ
think.
フランス
And you
か
got some pockets of survival down here. But look here, guys. Look at this melted building. Cliffside here. See here. You see this little wall with the arch doorway here. And up here, you see more brickwork. Here is a square. Another wall here. Pocket of survival, guys. Nobody built up here.
そうそう、
And
こんなもん建てるっていうか掘るわけ
this
よ
is probably something they put up to strengthen it
考えるのは
in
妥
modern
当です
times.
ね
I don't know. Could have been something that pocket of
まあ
survival.
とことん自分もこれ、この
You
ジョ
see
ージの
brick lines.
流して、
Look here.
洗
A
脳
wall
で
up
すね
here. Pocket. And here. Right? Almost a window here.
Scare.
That's how you find the look here. You barely see it. If you just focus on the buildings and stuff here, you won't see it. But if you really pay attention, you see what the fuck is this? And
そういう
up
こと
here,
ですよね。
right? Amazing evidence, guys.
うん。
This whole thing was a building. This is the coastline of France, I believe,
これフラン
and
スか。
you can see the brick lines all the way here.
だからこ
Brick
れも
lines,
全部
brick
建
lines,
物。
brick lines, brick lines. And in cathedrals and stuff, they very often have this kind of structure and shape all around it. So this could have been one that survived, brick lines. And then it looks like a tower spire that's barely sticking up from the flood. Right? It's not interesting. When you see this, just imagine the top of a church, so-called church, healing center, frequency center, and you just see this just sticking up. This is the floodwaters. And here, very cooked. Very, very cooked and melted and damaged. Barely anything left, but there is something. Arches, very many arches, and it's become mushed up. It
考
is.
え
Look
方変え
here.
た方がいいですね。建物は
Almost
古いん
turned
じゃな
into
くて、
almost
溶か
all
された
liquid,
すべての
liquefied here
建物
from
は
the
ほとんど
cooking.
溶かされた。か焼かれた。って考え
And
る
here,
方が
pocket of
妥当
survival
で
on
すね。
top, and the heat
年代は本当200
from
年
the bottom.
っていうか、
It expanded
前、何
and
千年とか
swelling
何
it
万年と
and
かそういう問
fucking
題
it
じゃ
up.
ないですね。
But the very
完
top
璧に
survived.
嘘ですね。
And there you have a little bridge that survived, and the rest of them, not so much. Completely fucked up. Very, very damaged and melted. It is what it is, guys. And here, this is in Spain. And you see this bridge structure, how deep down it goes. All the way down here. Maybe even further, but it's melted and fucked. And then you have some pockets on the top. The whole city here is built on top of melted buildings, which is this shit here. Okay? Brick lines, you can see. All this shit is melted buildings. This bridge survived, and some of the buildings on the top survived. Not natural, guys. And this is very far down. You don't get the proper perspective on this photo, but there is some photos when you see it from above, more from above, and it's very fucking far down there. Here, another building that's getting covered in itself. You know, you see that the rock curtain coming down and starting to cover it. This building is getting buried, basically. And you can still see the brick lines, very melted, of course, but see the horizontal lines on this whole cliff, aka melted building, block lines, and yeah, it's a building. Everything here is a building, melted. And I've shown this before as well, but yeah, another very good example of something that's impossible to build, but it's still there. Because the rest of this building melted, but this section survived. Pocket of survival here. Amazing evidence. This is pretty far up as well. You can't build here. How do you get all these bricks? How do you get them up here? And how do you place them on the side of a fucking hill? You can't. It's impossible. And this is one of the best as well. Building here, pocket of survival, that's getting covered and buried. See here, this little one, how it's getting buried, and how the building melt goes all around here. That's how it is. I think is this a painting? Is it a weird photo on it?
あ、それか上からでもこの部分だけ残すって。
It looks weird, but it's a real. I don't know if this is a painting. I'm seeing it now as I zoom in, but
Painting?
It doesn't matter. This it exists. I have seen many photos of it.
そこら辺よ。
This is in the same location, I think, very close by, and you see a pocket here.
何でもやっぱり疑ってかかんなきゃあれですもんね。全部
Pocket of
信じたら
survival,
大
and
変
the
な
rest
こ
of
と
the
なん
building
です
just completely fucked up.
でも、も
Turned
う
into
見
a
る限り
so-called
では絶対
mountain.
こんな部
And
分
here
的
as
に立っ
well.
たり絶対するわけがない。
I don't like the
で、
quality
これ
of
見た
some of
時
the
点で
photos
も
when I zoom.
やっぱ
But
壁
yeah,
の
they are
ラ
photos
イン、
from Pinterest. So
絶対こ
some
の
openings up here at the
ストレート
melted
のラインが
building
入
and
る
some
わけ
pocket
が
of
ない。
survival here.
ここら辺から全部もう
Just melted buildings, guys.
ベルディングですよね。
Can I go further? Oh, that was all. Okay. So we managed to get through this video as well, my friends. Not too bad. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the evidence.
ありがとう
And
ござい
if
ま
you're
した、ジョー
new,
ジムさん。
then I hope you're curious about this whole thing and that you will keep watching my videos until you know that it's melted buildings. It's something you know, just like the flat Earth, or that it's not a spinning space testicle, at
もう
least.
フラットアースは
right?
当たり前なんですよね。もうさっきりですよ。
Thank you all for spending time here with me today. I really enjoy all of you. My best friends are all inside this fucking computer. That's fucked up, but yeah,
It's
for
fucked
now
up.
at least, for now. So yeah, I'm gonna turn off this video. Thank you all. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. You don't have to. I'm not gonna force you. And please share it out with people. If you have anybody you wanna help convince or attempt to convince, please share it out. It helps everyone, you know.
Yes, yeah.
And also, if you want to donate, again, I'm just having to mention that please do it via the PayPal, because YouTube takes 30% of things. So don't do that. Do the PayPal. And yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.
ということですね。
Bye bye.
バイバイ。で、これですね。ということで、今晩はもうちょっと流そうかなと思ったけど、もう遅いんで、ここら辺でやめておきますか。ですね。また次回、いろいろ動画流していきたいと思うんで、今晩はありがとうございました。それじゃあまた次回を楽しみにお願いします。それじゃあおやすみなさい。失礼します。